Everything in Sintra is divine. There is no corner, there is not a poem. Quoting these words of the famous Portuguese writer Eça de Queiroz, we would like to take you for a virtual walk through the Park of Pena. So sit comfortably and dive with us into the fairy tale world of Sintra. Park and Palace of Pena are located in the hills of Sintra, and they are the fruit of King Ferdinand II's creativity and a beautiful expression of 19th century Romanticism in Portugal. The palace was built in such a way so that it can be seen from any point in the park. The only place higher than the palace itself is the Cruz Alta, which is around 500 meters above the sea level. The palace was built on the place of a medieval chapel devoted to Our Lady of Pena. Among many pilgrims visiting the chapel were also King John II and his wife Queen Leonor, who climbed the mountain in 15th century. Overwhelmed with the magnificence of that place, King ordered a monastery to be built, donated to the order of Saint Jerome. Until 18th century, it was a very small structure. The monastery was acquired by King Ferdinand II in 1838, and it was then when its transformation began. The palace, as we can see it today, is composed of two wings. The former Manueline monastery of the order of Saint Jerome, and the wing built in the 19th century. The transformation into a castle-alike building showed the love of Ferdinand II for the German Romanticism, which can also be seen in all the surroundings of the palace. And speaking of the surroundings, let's walk through the forests and gardens with over 500 different species of trees originating from the four corners of the earth. Paulo Coelho once said that in a forest of 100,000 trees, no two leaves are alike, and no two journeys along the same path are alike. And each visit to the Park of Pena is different, and each time we discover some new paths, and probably we discover something new about ourselves. King Ferdinand definitely knew how to take advantage of the mild and damp climate of the hills of Sintra, and he created new and exotic park. You can admire here beautiful examples of North American sequoias, Lawson cypress, magnolias, red cedar, Chinese ginkgo, Japanese cryptomeria, and a wide variety of ferns and trees from Australia and New Zealand. The park has a labyrinthic system of paths and narrow roads, and you can lose yourselves here for hours or even for days. So no wonder that in the times when Hieronymite monks lived in the monastery, they would found places for their solitary meditation in these woods. One of the most famous examples of these solitary places is the Grotto of the Monk, which was carved in pure granite rock. Quite often it's associated with the legend of Grotto of the Sintra fairy. The legend has it that every night a fairy comes to cry in the grotto for a reason that is still not known. The park has many water elements and motifs, which are emblematic for the romantic gardens, suitable for retreats and silent contemplation. The romantic spirit favored the view over nature as not just a force of freedom, but as well as sensual pleasure and artistic inspiration. Our path will lead now through some of the examples of these water elements, being two of them the tank of 7 pines and the fountain of the small birds with Islamic-styled pavilion. One of the places we would also like to make reference to is the chalet of Countess of Edla, which we had chance to visit some time ago. It is also known as the House of Indulgence, and it is located in the park's western point. It was built by King Ferdinand II for his second wife, Alice Hensler, who had become the Countess of Edla, as a private summer residence. On the death of Fernando II, the palace was inherited by the Countess. Both park and palace became state property at the end of 19th century. Our journey today ends by the Valley of the Lakes with duck houses, and this is just a small part of gardens and forests around the Palace of Pena, as there is so much more to see. So we hope you have enjoyed this tour with us, and we are looking forward to showing you more and to showing you this beautiful place personally.